And we're back. Right. So, do you want to do the introduction for this one, please, bruv?
Indeed. Good afternoon, everybody listening to us on the football referee on a day when the women's Euros begin in earnest. So I am Trevor Gear, and he calls me bruv.
And I'm Emmy Hikins, and he calls me Cuz. Welcome to the football referee. So, uh, uh, FIFA Club World Cup. I know it's not your favorite, but there was a comment by Enzo Maresca, the Chelsea manager.
Yeah,
Yeah, so there was a statement by the Chelsea manager, and he said something that I don't really agree with. I can see his point. I can see his point, but I don't agree with it because I think America is a great place. So here's what he said. He said that perhaps the competition, the FIFA Club World Cup, perhaps America is not the best place to have to host the
yeah.
competition. Um, and I can kind of, see a little bit of his point, but America has always been pivotal to the success of many entertainment or, you know, whatever kind of entertainment. America is always been at the forefront of promoting, be it movies
Yeah.
or sporting events. They always, America is a, because they've got this love for entertainment. The Americans have a great love for anything entertainment. You can tell from Hollywood, for instance, and the way that they
Mm.
do, and the way that they celebrate their celebrities as well. But anyway, when he said that, I thought, all right, so these players are having to travel all the way from Europe to then go to America, which is where football is much more active. Anywhere in the world, you talk about Europe, you talk about football, you talk about Europe, don't you?
Mm.
I'm not saying other continents of the world and that involved in football, but I think they all kind of converge in Europe. I don't know if that makes sense. So they'll come either they come into the Premier League or they go into the Spanish Premier League. So it's a. But then when I think about the FIFA Club World Cup, I think, well, it's not a popular competition anyway. So if they hosting in America, well, so you know, even if they hosted it in Europe, I don't think it would have made any much difference. And that's my opinion. I'll ask for yours in a bit.
Mm.
Um, but then the reason why he said it was there was a 2 minute, 2 hour delay before one of the matches involving Chelsea, and it was because there was the floodlights wouldn't come on. So here's my question: do you think that it being played in America is hampering it? If it was played in Europe, would it have been better managed? What do you make?
Yeah, I think it's a very good question, and it seems to me that I don't know whether the point the Chelsea manager was making had to do with the weather, but I think one of the issues has been the hot weather, which
Right,
we actually have had over here as well. And I guess expecting footballers to play in 95, 100-degree heat,
right,
particularly if it's humid as well, is too much. So I think that was one of the criticisms that's been made, that if it's going to be this time of year in certain
right.
parts of America, because of course they travel to different parts of America. So time of year in certain
Right.
parts of America, because of course they travel to different parts of America. So there's a lot of flying involved as well, which is arduous on the players when you think the teams over there, Man City, Chelsea, etc. they've had a pretty long, hard season here, and then they go over there for a lot of travelling, a lot of physical efforts, only to then come back and try and have their pre-season stuff going as well. I think it's usually around the 1st of July, which was what, yesterday. Um, was it yesterday? Yes, it was. That
Yeah.
teams get their players back to begin training. Obviously, those on international duty, they can't do that. But so I can see why it might not be popular. But I was interested to read. I mean, I think there was a great surprise that Manchester City were knocked out by a team called Al Hilal, I think it was, from Saudi.
Saudi, yeah.
Even though City had a lot of its multi-million pound stars playing, and they lost. And I think there's not been criticism of Pep, of course, but it was a great surprise. And it's almost as if with last season as well that Man City have kind of peaked, and I think already they've spent a lot of money on some new players. But one thing that stuck in my mind, because you're right, I don't think this World Cup club competition, whatever it's called, is particularly popular with the teams. I don't think they relish going over there at the end of a long season, etc. But I can't remember the figure. I could be wrong on this figure, but it was in the ballpark. City lost, but they still, their prize, if you like, was £37 million.
Yeah.
It could have been dollars, but whatever. But
Yeah.
of course, if they didn't have those incentives, the clubs who probably say, yeah, it's not something we want to do at the end of the season, before the next season, and travel all that way. But of course, they're attracted by these huge bucks, the money that is on offer. So even if you don't make the final or whatever, you're still going to make millions of dollars. So I think that's one of the reasons. But I do think, I mean, there was talk about, they're going to have more drink stops in the matches, which on exceptional days here they do that, don't they, when it gets
Yeah.
really hot.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't necessarily stop the competition, but I think there just is thinking going on about the wisdom of plotting it there in America, which includes places in America which are just too hot to play football. I mean, I guess the times they play will be late in the day, so it's a bit cooler. But I think that's going to be, well, that is one of the big issues as far as I can see.
Mm. Right. Is it, was you mute? Can you hear me?